So welcome to our second webinar in the Psychology of Eating series. We hope that you found the first one useful. And this one looks at a problem that many people raise when they're trying to manage their weight and stick to their good intentions, which is dealing with slip-ups. We all have slip-ups from time to time, and a little bit of that is no bad thing. We all need a bit of a treat. But when it gets too frequent, that can really sabotage our diet. So we're going to look at what we can do for those whoops, I've done it again moments. And this will also involve looking at mindful eating. I'm Sarah Sims. I'm the Education and Psychology Assistant Practitioner in the West Hampshire Community Diabetes Service. And I hope that you enjoy this webinar. So all of us will encounter these moments where, despite our good intentions, we look down and we finish some food that we weren't even aware we'd started. And this calls for what we call a Food 999 situation, so we're going to suggest some emergency aid. First suggestion, this involves having a bit of reflection on what is happening for you when you're reaching automatically for that food. What's going on in your mind? And a food diary is a really good way of doing this. So keep a track of when you're eating more than you really intended to, when and where this happened, who you were with and what you were doing, what triggered it. So was it a feeling? Was it a thinking? Which came first? What you ate and drank and how much? And your thoughts and feelings afterwards. You can discover some really useful information about yourself and detect some patterns. So here's an example. Here's a typical food diary. Sitting in front of the TV at 9 o'clock in the evening, lots of people tell us this is a real danger time. You know that you're full, you've only just had your dinner, but you start reaching for that food. So who you might be with, it might be that you were on your own and you were just watching TV. And what was your trigger? What thoughts were going through your head? So it might be something like that you wished you had some company. You're at home on your own, and that might lead to some very critical thoughts around no one cares. And that might lead to a sense of not caring about yourself. I can't stick to this diet. And the feelings that are going to come from those sort of thoughts might be feeling a bit sad or a bit lost. So what do you do in response? It's not surprising with those thoughts. It's completely understandable that you might want a bit of comfort. And that's what this person has done, turning to a family-sized bag of crisps and some sweets. And the thoughts and feelings afterwards are going to be even more self-punishing. I've failed at my diet again, I'm useless. And I put the arrow in there because this is a bit like a washing machine. These thoughts and feelings and then the eating behaviours go round and round in a cycle. The worse you feel, the more likely you are again to eat something that's going to be comforting but maybe not in line with your diet. It's really understandable. How can you tackle it? Well, one thing you can try is a bit of what we call cognitive restructuring. And that's really just a way of saying challenging those negative thoughts, starting with the thoughts. So your situation's the same, you're in front of the TV, watching it on your own. The thought might come into your head, I'm lonely, but you can challenge that by thinking, I have good friends, they're just not with me at the moment, and in the morning I'll call one of them. And that's much more likely to lead to a more positive thought of, in the meantime, I'm just going to use something positive to distract myself rather than eating. And in turn, you get a more positive feeling about yourself and how you can look after yourself. I can stick to this diet. And the feelings that might result from those thoughts are feeling more hopeful and also more compassionate to yourself. People often worry about being kind to themselves. If I'm kind to myself, I'm more likely to give in. But actually the research shows the opposite. If you're kinder to yourself, you're more likely to then have the strength to stick to those good behaviours. So then, those more positive thoughts and more positive feelings are reflected in more positive behaviour. You drank some low-calorie squash to keep yourself distracted, and instead of eating, you did some distraction, got your jigsaw out. And that produces more feelings and thoughts, which again are more positive. That sense of reward, I've done it, I've stuck to my diet, I've proved I can do it even when things are tough. So challenging what you're thinking can be a really good way of stopping this cycle. Try it next time you're struggling with your healthy intentions. This is another way you can deal with an eating emergency. And that's some tricks around taking some perspective. So I'm going to start with the road, the long way ahead. People often fall into the trap of forgetting all the good progress they've made so far, and they get fixated on what's just happened. They've just eaten more cakes than they meant to at tea time, or they ate the cake and they didn't want to at all. But that doesn't wipe out all of the good progress that you've made so far. So take a wider perspective. Look at the road you've travelled. The bottom left-hand corner, writing stuff down. We really support this. Research shows it works. And in this case, what I mean is write down to remind yourself the reasons that you want to adopt more healthy eating habits in the first place. That might be what a healthcare professional has told you. It might be concerns about your health. Or it might be an aim that's much more personal to you. Say you want to be around to enjoy your grandchildren and be there to support them. Or you need to be strong and fit to take care of your partner. Or you just want to be able to enjoy clothes shopping again. It doesn't need to be a deep and meaningful reason, just something that ties in with your values. And stick that bit of paper somewhere that's going to remind you, when the going gets tough, why you want to achieve this. The timetable. What I mean by that is, and again this is about perspective, if you're really struggling, sometimes the prospect of being good, as we call it, for a whole day feels a bit overwhelming. So if that applies to you, try cutting up the day into segments. You're going to stick to your healthy eating resolutions, not for the whole day, but just for the first 2 hours of the day. And then if you make a mess up, you've only ruined those first 2 hours. You can pick yourself up and start afresh in the next 2 hours. And I'd also say, notice I use those phrase, bad eating habits, good eating habits, being good, being bad. Really want you to challenge you about that language. If you're told that you're being bad, you're more likely to repeat it because it's really demoralising. Take away all that criticism. A more helpful term is something like helpful and unhelpful behaviours. And don't forget, sometimes it's okay to be a bit naughty and have a treat. We all need to do that now and then. You can't take emotional eating out of the equation, but it's just giving you more choice on when to do it. And the top left-hand corner, last but not least, if you're struggling with your food, don't forget all the other things that you've achieved in your life. Sometimes reminding ourselves of what we have achieved can give us the determination to achieve in an area we're struggling with. Maybe that's a driving test, maybe it's taking care of a partner, maybe it's passing some exams, maybe it's just the determination to take control of your diabetes. If you've been able to apply that to one area, you can apply it to another. Okay, now I'm going to introduce you to another tool for your box to consider, and this is about mindfulness. Mindfulness basically means being aware of the present moment, focusing all of your attention on what's happening for you now. A lot of the time we get into muddles because we're fearing the future, imagining what might be about to happen, or we're ruminating about the past, going over and over what we think that we've done wrong in the past. And that gets us into all sorts of muddles. Mindfulness actually originated in the East, as you're probably aware, and it relates to a whole way of spiritual living, but you don't have to be spiritual to use it. And if you want to try the benefits of mindfulness, and they can really work for you, it can help you get calmer and give you time to slow down and make positive choices. Here's a fairly easy way of doing it. If you take your hand and raise it in the position as you see in the image, and what I want you to do is take your index finger, your pointing finger from the other hand, and really slowly trace up to the top of your thumb and down again, just once. And keep doing that really slowly up to the top of your index finger and down again. Then up to the top of your middle finger, down again. Your ring finger and down again. And then your little finger, down again. Probably finding that's quite soothing already. Now I want you to introduce breath, as there's a wealth of evidence showing that slowing down our breathing slows down our minds and reaps lots of benefits. So take your index finger again, put it to the base of your thumb, really slowly up to the top of your thumb, and as you're doing that, breathe out. Hold the breath out. When you get to the top of your thumb, come down, and as you come down, breathe in. Then up your index finger, breathing out as you slowly move up your finger. And breathing in as you slowly go down your finger. Out as you slowly go up your middle finger. Down as you slowly go down it. Out as you slowly go up your ring finger. In as you slowly go down your ring finger. Out as you go up your little finger. In as you come down your little finger. And the beauty of this exercise is it slows you down and it gives you choice over what you do next. And you can do it anywhere. You can do it on public transport, in a meeting, just put your hand under the table, in front of the TV. No one will know what you're doing. So the whole aim of mindfulness here is to give you pause, and you can use that to become aware of what you're doing and make choices about what you're doing. And it links in to an approach called mindful eating. Now this could really work for you if you're the kind of person who finds yourself at the end of the meal and you weren't even conscious of eating it. Happens to a lot of us with our really busy, rush lives, or the way that we tend to eat in front of the TV or in front of the computer, other distractions. And that's bad for us in lots of ways. It takes away the enjoyment and the appreciation of food. And you're also much more likely to overeat, because it can take up to 20 minutes for your body to register that you're full and send those signals of I'm full. So you need to give yourself time. And here's some tips if you want to try mindful eating. You need to be bold and turn those screens off. Computer screen, phone screen, TV screen. And slow down. Some mindful eating approaches actually recommend a certain number of times of chewing your food, and you can try that, but just make sure that you're slowing down. And you can certainly try putting your fork down between each bite. And we'd also say really work on focusing on your food, on the taste of your food, on the smell of your food, really to bring back that enjoyment in your food. Sometimes you might find out that what you've been eating for years you don't like very much. Or you might discover new tastes that you didn't think you'd like, which you really enjoy. So it can bring all sorts of benefits, as well as helping you to get in touch with, am I hungry? Or am I just eating because it's there? And check in with yourself, finally. And if you've lost touch with what real hunger is, we'd say some tips are, real hunger feels like a physical sensation. You might actually get an ache or a really empty feeling or a kind of growling noise from your tummy. And also, when you're really hungry, physically hungry, you're not too fussed about what you eat. You just need food. A craving doesn't have that physical emptiness. And it's much more an obsession with a particular kind of food. And it normally comes with an emotion. So check in with yourself. Do I still need to finish more of this plate? And enjoy your food. That's the most important thing. So it's always good to hear how other people experience making healthy habits and sticking to healthy habits. And here are some things that people from our Shake weight loss program have told us about their results from losing weight. But this really applies to anyone who is working towards losing weight and changing their diet. So people have said that their energy levels are actually increasing as they're taking in less calories. They're actually feeling more energetic and more motivated, and often they're doing more activity each day. They're also finding that as they're losing the weight, their sleep is often improving. And those highs and lows of sugar can really disturb our sleep and make us quite stressed. So that's another benefit from healthy eating. They're finding that they're satisfied on less food. They're not having that automatic need to just clear the plate because they're more in touch with what their body wants. And as well, their cravings diminish and they're enjoying a wider taste of foods. When you keep eating sugar, you keep wanting sugar because your blood sugar is going up and down. And as they're exploring more foods, particularly that filling protein, healthy fats, more good quality carbohydrates, that's filling them up and they're exploring new things to eat. And also that hunger is not a sensation that you have to panic about. You don't have to meet it immediately. You can wait and survive that waiting period. So that's some things to think about. Other benefits that you'll get from healthy eating, other than just losing inches off your waistline.